Mark Hudson! It is a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
The pleasure is mine.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. I am a big fan of your movies. Your ability to bring the characters to life on camera is out of this world. You are, without question, the greatest director today.
Well, all the credit goes to Mr. Prince, and he likes things done in a certain way.
Oh.
Do you ever imagine me here working at Prince Productions?
Always had a feeling I'd been up in a place like this.
Mr. Prince is very excited to meet you. The moment he laid eyes on your screenplay, he fell in love. He couldn't put the damn thing down. He loves the story, Joe.
Well, Mark, I'm very excited to meet him too. What did you think of my story?
Mr. Prince's opinion is the only one that matters here, and he likes it.
You have a point there. He is the man running the show, is he not? Not to mention the one paying us.
Mr. Prince's opinion is the only one that matters, Joe.
I understand, but I'd like your thoughts on it as well. My story is very similar to your old way of storytelling when you were an independent filmmaker back in the day. Here's the main character, Nick, who is very ambitious and ready to take on the world. And I think I framed the story very well to where the audience builds a strong bond with Nick. Even through his flaws, the audience is able to connect and relate to him. I think...
Tonight we are having a contract signed here at the lounge. All the production heads are going to be here. Mr. Prince expects you here as well.
Yeah, I can make it. What time do I need to be here?
7 o'clock on the dot. I call minutes before Mr. Prince arrives. It's going to be a formal stop event, so wear something presentable.
Will do. Oh.
Good to see you again, Joe.
Good to see you again, Mark.
Now, are you ready to meet Mr. Prince?
Well, I'm about to meet the biggest film producer in Hollywood, so tell me, Mark, how ready were you when you first met Mr. Prince?
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all.
Why did you come here in the first place?
Well, I wasn't planning on it at first, but Mr. Prince is very persuasive and offered me a deal I couldn't resist.
I was a big fan of your early films when you were an independent filmmaker. I especially liked your comedies. They were raunchy and hilarious.
Yes, they were.
Oh, you could do it all. Comedy, thrillers, action movies. Whatever you did, you had an amazing ability to do it well. Some favorites I really remember.
Excuse me, Joe. Mr. Prince should be here any second. He actually really liked this stuff.
Mr. Prince!
Let me introduce you. Hang on. Mark. Mr. Prince, good to see you.
Oh.
Joe.
Mr. Prince!
Samuel Prince, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Welcome to Prince Productions.
So I was only a minute into watching the final cut, and I asked her, "Is this the shit you want America to see?" So I asked her, "Who approved of this?" That very day, I had the director of the movie in my office explain to me how this is a story about the little guy, the backbone of America. I told him, this is Hollywood. We only pretend to care about the little guy. I told him, not only will you never be allowed to step foot at Prince Productions ever again, but I'm going to make sure you never get another job anywhere ever again. And just like that, boom! Cancel! Woo! Cancel!
You know best, Mr. Prince.
Oh, you're incredible.
So, Joe, I see you've gotten to know the team here pretty well. Are you excited about the thought of your story being on the big screen?
Definitely, Mr. Prince. I'm really looking forward to getting to work with an all-star team like this. Especially with a director like Mark Hudson on board. I think this movie's going to be a big hit.
Well, Joe, choosing your screenplay was a no-brainer decision.
Thank
The
you.
story is great. You're a talented writer, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Prince.
The story keeps you tuned in the entire time. I especially like Nick's ambition and drive. He lives life his way through trials and tribulations. Nick is never fazed by anything or anyone who looks to bring him down.
Even in times of hardship, his spirit never failed him. Even when people try to knock him down, he jumps back up and stays the course.
Your passion for this story is second to none. The title of the story is fascinating. Trails. Why'd you come up with that name?
I have these trails by my house, and as I was walking on them one day, I had one of those light bulb moments. And that's how I developed the story. The trails in the story are a perfect representation of life.
Life. What is that representation exactly?
Oh, Nick's story is a series of trails. Some trails are smooth and easy to walk through, while others are bumpy and more difficult. It's easy for someone to turn around and walk back the way they came if they're faced with a series of bumps on the road. But Nick never turns around. Nick walks over those bumps and continues to stay the course.
Where do these trails lead him in the end?
Well, nowhere exactly, but the ending scene shows Nick walking down a trail where the destination is unknown, but the trail ahead is hopeful. The ending is a perfect representation that hope is something we can hang on to as we forge ahead into the unknown.
That's not the ending for Nick.
Yes, it is. That's what I wrote.
No, it's not. Instead, Nick finds a place at the end of the trail. A place where all of his fears are replaced with everything he's ever desired.
That's an interesting idea for an ending, but I like the way I wrote the ending.
My studio, my decision.
You changed the ending?
Yes, I did. The ending needed something more to it. A story that ends only on the basis of hope? Joe, hope is dead. People want answers, not cliffhangers.
You're telling me paradise just pops out of thin air at the end of the trail for Nick to enjoy? Sounds almost too good to be true.
Oh no, it's not. Because this place is paradise for Nick. It's a happy ever after ending. And once you sign your name at the bottom of this page here, I will make your idea of a movie into a reality. And then, it's happy ever after for you too, Joe. Russ?
Listen, Joe, you're going to sign that contract.
I will, if we do the story my way.
That isn't happening.
Whatever happened to creativity? Does creativity and freedom of thought just die as soon as you walk into this place?
You have two options. The first, you sign your name on that contract, your movie becomes a hit, and you become rich and famous. Or decide not to, and your life is over. You look like a smart guy. I bet you will make the correct option here.
Are you threatening me?
It's the bottom line.
Every lost soul that comes through these doors have different stories, different reasons for why they left their lives behind, seeking answers. But do you know what they all have in common, Joe? They all want fame and power to fill those voids in their lives. And I'm the answer they seek. Joe, I'm that answer for you. Allow me to give you the fame and power you've always desired.
I want to do the story my way.
Joe, just like those damn trails in your story, this conversation is getting you nowhere. It's final. We're doing the story my way.
Where's my power in that?
Power with regulation.
I'm out.
Now you listen here. I have been very patient with you. More patient than I've ever been with anyone who's walked through these doors. Everyone who's come to me looking to work here understands what I expect from them, and they are quick to sign up. But you don't. Why is that? What's the power in that? I give you the power, Joe. But you have to understand one thing. There's always going to be a puppet master behind the scenes pulling the strings. What narrative do you think I'm going to paint about you to the media? And you know damn well, Joe, the media is not going to question me. I have the ability to make your life into a living hell. Or pure paradise. Now, sign your name at the bottom.
Samuel Prince.
Matt Jacobs, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Let's begin.
Now, you've been in the news recently a lot for letting go an employee, Joe Tanner.
Yes. From the moment he walked into Prince Productions, he gave off a negative and hostile energy.
Negative and hostile how?
He would just lash out at people for no reason at all. One time he even grabbed a box full of stage props and started throwing them at one of our interns. The intern was a woman. He didn't like women being in the workplace very much.
Wow, that sounds like a terrible guy.
Yes, Joe Tanner is a terrible human being. Joe Tanner is an angry sexist who has no place in society whatsoever. Did I mention he's a racist too?
Wow, no, you did not, but thank you for sharing.
It's my pleasure. You see, every movie coming out of Prince Productions, I want those movies to give people a sense of hope, a sense of belonging in the world. I want my movies to give hope to the little guy who's maybe struggling to feed his family. That's what it's all about. And I just know, in good conscience, I couldn't say that about Prince Production movies if I had someone like Joe Tanner working for me.
Well, Mr. Prince, you do know best, and thank you for sharing the truth with us here today.